First thing we've got to do here today is remove the ballast lines from the Lego City. That is the train track there up against the water and also the road plates. I'm going to be modifying all of those train tracks just so they look a little bit more natural in the Lego City downtown core. I plan to do that with the fully tiled off train tracks. I've got some half base plates, which are 16 by 32 studs, and I'm actually going to embed those train tracks right into the mill's plate. So I put 4 studs of green on either side of the train track, and the train track has underlaying plate, so it's all multicolor under there, and then I actually top it with some dark gray tile. I also want to build the boardwalk today, well, at least start. I go through a tremendous amount of Lego in this video. It's actually wild, like how many pieces we use. And the crazy thing is I only develop this corner of the city. But not too long ago, I was working on the position of all of the modular buildings in the downtown core. We added this water, which extends off the ocean by the beach there and connects to the boatyard. And then I also had this water flow through a canal, which actually goes underneath a bridge there and goes through the Lego City. So I'm really happy with the addition of all of the water. And now it's just time to start developing this city, because I can sit there and I can shift things around forever, but now it's time to actually start laying down some pieces and get back to the building. So I was able to build a few train tracks down there. We've definitely got to build a lot more, but I'm excited about taking on a different project today as well, and that involves the Lego City roads, specifically the curves. A fan of the channel actually emailed me a new design for the curved road plates that I use in my Lego City. It's very similar, but it's a little bit more simplistic. There's actually less pieces and it actually widens the road. So that's what I'm building right now at my desk here. This is actually the first time that I'm building something custom up by the parts. I really like this setup. We've got the table with the camera and all the parts within arm's reach behind me. Well, I guess not all within arm's reach, but sometimes I just have to stand up and grab a specific part bin. But there's lots of table space. I love the fact that I've got that table space in front there. Now, I created that curve on the 32 by 32 base plate, but I've actually got to create another one, and this is going to be a very specialized plate. It's going to sit on 48 by 48 studs, and I've got to build a curve, so the road curve that I just constructed there, and it also has to accommodate a curved train track. So it's definitely going to become rather part intensive and a little bit more difficult than creating your standard road / train track plate. But this plate that I'm about to construct here took about, I think it was like an hour and a half, close to 2 hours even. So this is going to go in the corner there right by the boutique hotel and also the fire brigade, and it's just going to fill that corner spot in nicely, accommodating the vehicles on the road and also the trains on the train track. So I embedded this train track right into the mill's plate, just like I did with those other half base plate ones, but it's a curve, so I've got to work the plates in there using like 1x plates, some corner plates, also some slopes, and I'm actually getting it snug right up against the train track so that it sort of matches the design of the other tracks in the Lego City. Now you'll notice that there's light gray tiles on top of the curved train track there. That's because this specific segment here actually came from the raised line from my existing city, but I figured why not reuse it. Got a limited amount of track and I don't know when the raised line is going to go in. So it looks good, but we've got the light gray studs on that base plate. I think it's going to be a lot better if I tile that off fully in dark gray, just so that it matches the other ones. And when you look through the curved train track, you don't see any light gray popping through. Luckily for me, I've got a lot of 1x2 tiles. I don't know how long they're going to last in this city layout, but I've decided to fully tile that off with 1x2 dark gray tiles. And once that's done, I'm able to install the train track and it looks pretty fresh. Here in the Lego City, you'll see one of my existing curves. There are a bunch of the wedge plates that sort of take away from the road, but they do make that nice curve. It does have a line break there because there used to be a driveway pull-in. That's the existing one, and this is the new one, so there's a lot less of the wedge plates, and the curve is a lot wider, making that segment of road a lot bigger, or at least making it look a lot bigger than the existing ones. I definitely like this design. The corners are a bit pixelated, but it's hard to get that perfect curve built out of plates. I like the design. I think it looks good. I think it's going to be a nice update for the Lego City, and I think I'm going to actually change all of my curves in the future so that they are the new design. I just think it's a cleaner look. So thank you so much for the recommendation. Here we have the train track that I was building earlier. I switch up that yellow edge later on, but you can see the train track is embedded right in the 4x4 plates Really like the look of that. It's just so clean, a lot cleaner than the ballast look that we used to have going around the Lego City. And here's the curve that took me so long to build. Integrated nicely, definitely blends together well with the other 16 by 32 segments. And that once again is a 48 by 48 base plate there that has the nice curved road, and it's fully tiled off underneath as well, so you can't see any of the light gray, and it just sort of blends together nicely. You can see all the different part usage. There's some slopes, some 1x plates, some corner plates, all sorts of 4x plate, and it's fully mills plated. And I think that makes this corner look pretty cool. Next up, I want to try and build a new style of boardwalk. Now, I've had a boardwalk in my city before. I'm going to call it a boardwalk. I realize it's not wood. Don't have enough reddish brown tiles to make it actual wood, but I'm going to reuse the concrete boardwalk. I'm actually going to expand it though. So this is a 32 by 32 stud base plate. I've done 8 studs of grass or green plate, and that's mills plated. And then the boardwalk actually comes up 2 bricks just to give that depth effect off the water. And it's fully tiled off. It's got some 2x2 light gray tiles and also some 2x2 light gray plate. The existing railing actually used to be just black upright clips with the gold flex tubing. And I've decided to change that. I'm actually going to use some of my light gray 1x4 arches. I just think it sort of matches the nice like concrete look that this boardwalk has. Let's place this one in the Lego City and see how it looks. So on the right, you can see one of the existing ones, and there's the new one. All I've got to do now is take care of the water. I'm going to do that with some black, dark blue, and regular blue plate. This is just going to give us a nice depth effect. I like just making a nice smooth transition in depth, and also just adding different colors just so it adds some more texture and dimension to the water. And then I'm going to add some of the trans clear 2x2 slopes and also some of the 1x1 cheese slopes. And then of course I've got to top it off with the 1x2 light trans blue tiles, and that's really going to make this water pop. I do have some dark blue tiles. If I run out of light blue, which I probably will, I'll probably start using some dark blue tiles in the deeper sections. But here we go. I think this looks pretty good. I love the water. We've got the nice depth effect. Also the dark gray masonry on the bottom there to represent the wet stone. I think the arches clean it up nicely, fully tiled off there as well. I think it's looking pretty fresh. However, I don't like the 3 masonry bricks side by side. I do change that up later on. But this corner is starting to come together. However, we're gonna have to build a bunch more modules, both for the train track and also the remaining boardwalk. There is a bunch of green space that's open there. I do plan on filling that with a bunch of vegetation. Also, the roads don't look very good right now. So I'm just gonna take care of some road plates here, like in front of the fire brigade, boutique hotel, and some other buildings along the stretch there. First thing I've got to do is just fix up the bike lane because it doesn't really make sense. There's sidewalk randomly throughout the city, so I've got to fix up the one in front of the fire brigade. We have the driveway pole in there, and then there's a bicycle lane on either side of that, and then I'll have to switch up the plate in front of the university as well. It's just a matter of, you know, getting all the parts and constructing it so it's perfect, making sure that the right tiles are in the right spot, making sure that there's the proper pull-ins for driveways in the correct spot, making sure that the bike lane all lines up, and also making sure that the crosswalks line up. Sometimes they don't work on the corners, so you've got to put them on the straight plates and offset them because I've added those bicycle lanes into the road extenders. So you can just go through and make sure that everything is perfect. And that just takes a lot of time, and it's just part of the process of building a Lego city. I find it a lot of fun. Just going through and making sure, you know, every little detail is perfect, even though, like I mentioned, we still have to add like a bunch of vegetation. I still have to build a bunch more train track. I still have to fix up a bunch of roads. But once you get like started on a project like this, like fixing up the roads, you just want to keep going and going and going and going. And before you know it, 6 hours is flowing by and you're like, oh my gosh, that's wild. I used this many pieces and this much time, and we've only worked on this little corner of the city, but we may as well continue with more train track. So I was lucky because when I started this project, I actually had some of the train track ready to go. So I just reused that. It used to run through the Lego city. First thing I've got to do though is find some 16 by 32 base plates. And then I'm using all of my yellow brick. May as well use it. I'll never use that for any building. So I don't think I'm going to build a yellow building. So I'm running 2 rows of that on either side of the base plate, and I'm doing all of it in a assembly line style. And then once I get the yellow plate on there, I can slap the 4x4 green plate on. I actually got all this green plate from the pad wall, and probably most of this yellow brick too, now that I think about it, but they are in stacks because that's how I stack them into the box. So what I do is connect 2 brick separators, and then I can just very easily pop those apart. Once I get the green plate on there, it's time to start constructing some of the actual train track. So I'm grabbing some of the regular train track from the Lego City right now that's untreated. There will be no untreated track in my Lego City. No, that's taboo. And then what I'm doing is I'm putting 4x colorful plate on the underside of it, and then I'm running 1x colorful plate on the edge. I'm filling in the sections with 1x2 colorful plates. May as well use all of my colorful stuff that I'll never use for anything else other than this type of stuff. And then once that's all taken care of, I start covering it with tiles. So I actually put 2x2 tiles in the center. That's all dark gray, of course. And then I take the 1x2 dark gray tiles, which I found on the pad wall, and I run them down the side. And that just makes it look really nice. But yeah, I figure I may as well get rid of all of this colorful stuff, yellow, orange, red, the stuff that I rarely use for building unless it's for this stuff. So actually, never mind buying it in bulk, like from bulk lots on Facebook or local classifieds or whatever it may be, because I know I can use it for creating structures or filling in the base of train track. There's lots of different uses for all of these weird random colors that I would never use in my Lego City. And you can see the stack of nice train track right there. It's slowly accumulating, and wow, the before and after is just beauty. You've got like this untreated train track, and it's nicely inset on the 16x32 base plates. I didn't even keep track of how many we built there, but wow, we're gonna need a lot more, that's for sure. So I built some with a light gray edge underneath the green plate there. So I'm replacing all the ones that had the yellow edge on the right side there, and then I am putting the ones with the 2x2 colorful brick or the yellow side right there, because I know it's going to go up against another Mills plate and it won't be exposed. I just got to remember to try and keep all the edges beautiful. I don't want this random color on the edge of the table. Fix up a few other things here and there, and just like that, we've got some more train track in the city. And I may as well construct a couple more of the boardwalk plates as well. And I'm going to do this in an assembly line as well. So first thing I do is just lay my underlaying brick. So I've got some 2x2 colorful brick and also some 1x2 colorful brick for the edge. And then I lay my 4x4 green plate. I like the fact that there's 8 studs of grass there. I'm going to be able to put some really nice vegetation going up against the boardwalk, and it's really going to pop right against the gray boardwalk, right? That's going to be awesome. Now I've got a couple more of those boardwalks that are 8 studs, so I extend them out to 10 studs. It's easy just to transfer them, but then I've got to move the tile over because I put the railing on, which was made of those arches. However, I discovered that I don't have enough of the arches, which is a little bit upsetting. I'll have to order some 1x4 arches. I did try to substitute them with some 1x2 inverted slopes. If you put 2 of them facing toward each other, creates like this nice triangle. I could get away with using that, but once again, I don't have enough of the 1x2 inverted slopes either. So that's sort of an issue, but whatever, I'll figure it out at some point. I really like having the railing built out of an arch or the inverted slopes. I think it completes the look, and I'll have to figure that out when I order more parts. I didn't get them all done up there. I still have to add the tiles to cap off those railings because it's just exposed studs. My tile bin was down here, and I still have to treat the water as well. I'm going to do that the same way, but this time I'm actually doing it a little bit more sporadic. So there's more of an integration of the dark blue, black, and the regular blue as well. Now, it doesn't really matter how you do it because everything looks natural, especially when you cover it up with the tiles. But it is nice having some speckles of blue mixed in with the dark blue and some of the dark blue mixed in with the black. And then just adding those trans blue tiles and also the waves as well. And of course, that can all change too. Like if I want to add different texture, it's not hard to whip out a brick separator and just pluck out a few tiles here and there and add some more waves and some more detail to the water. But there you go. I think that boardwalk looks pretty sweet. I'm really excited about the detail phase of the Lego City. I think this looks really good. Once I get some taller trees behind it and I also build some sort of walkway going across the railroad track so that people can actually go on this boardwalk. It'll make sense. Also, I could put some small boats within the water, and I could put people fishing off of the boardwalk. And of course, I can add more details to try and break up that light gray color, such as minifigures, vendors, etc. I think this curve looks great. So happy with that. Way better than the ballast. I'm not going to be getting rid of the ballast. It's going to be used in the countryside. Excited that I was able to start working on the roads as well, really starting to clean up this section of the city. I want to work on the downtown core just slowly but surely. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of repetition to get this done in a highly detailed way. But hey, I mean, just slowly but surely it's going to happen. One thing that I wish I had more of is a little bit more labor. That would really be a lot of help, because once you have the template made for this stuff, it's really just sort of reproducing it. I wish there was a Control-C, Control-V for creating some of this stuff, because it gets a little bit repetitious. I've got to figure out how I'm going to treat this water, how it's going to flow underneath that bridge there, and how it's going to flow underneath the train track as well. So maybe the train track needs to go up a brick in that area. That should be manageable, so that there's a little bit of a bridge for the train as well. And then we've got two more curves right here, which should be interesting to build as well. It swoops around in front of the brick bank and then turns again by the vintage diner there, going in front of the zoo. And then I'll have to create more of the modules for behind the zoo as well. And those ones are going to be built into the road plates that I build over there as well. I've just got some rough draft stuff going on over there right now. Now, if we swoop over here, we'll see that there is the train yard, and I've actually reallocated all of that ballast track over here. So I've got all this stuff that's probably going to have to be just like modified so that it can be adapted to better serve the countryside and also the train yard. But this is where I want to put all the ballast stuff. There's no sense in putting the ballast stuff in the city. I think it's going to look better over there. But yeah, we've got some details built here today. I can't believe how long that took. Literally an entire day of labor. Like, we're talking 8 hours just to treat this corner. And I didn't do any editing or anything throughout the day. I just built and built and built. But there we go. Boardwalk's looking cool. Same with the train track, and also the freshened up road in front of the university, fire brigade, and boutique hotel. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. I hope you enjoyed this LEGO City update. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff, because we're going to continue developing this forever. Farewell.